Hello and welcome to Totally Trades. This session is provided to you by New Ventures Maine. New Ventures Maine has been providing in-person Totally Trades conferences for many years in Maine, and for the past 2 years, we have provided virtual sessions. These sessions are intended for people who are interested in exploring non-traditional careers. Totally Trades provides information about careers in trade and technical fields that students of any gender might want to explore. We welcome students of all abilities, backgrounds, regions, religions, and experiences. Non-traditional careers are careers that are predominantly and traditionally filled by one gender. Occupations such as truck driving, engineering, pilots, and architects are considered non-traditional occupations for people who identify as women or non-binary. Careers such as nursing, child care provider, and elementary teaching are considered non-traditional for people who identify as men. In today's session, we will be focusing on the career field of early childhood development. Careers in early childhood development are non-traditional careers for those who identify as men. Let's hear from 2 child care workers who work for Miss Jordan's Child Care and Preschool Center. Travis is a child care worker who has a degree in education and has been working at Miss Jordan's for nearly a year as he gets ready to pursue his long-term career goal of teaching. Zach is also a child care worker who has a background in local TV work, but decided to give early childhood development a go as it sounded interesting. He has been working at Miss Jordan's for 3 years.
Hi, guys. Could you go ahead and introduce yourself to everybody and tell us what your job positions are?
My name is Zachary Tardy. I'm a child care provider at Miss Jordan's Daycare.
My name is Travis Vincent. I'm also a child care provider at Miss Jordan's Daycare.
Great. Well, I really appreciate you joining us. Can you tell me a little bit about what interests you about childcare and education work in general?
Thanks for having us. My interest is just there's kind of like a lack of diversity. I think back to my teachers in school, and there's usually like 1 or 2 you connect to, and it's kind of the teachers that are a little different or like you can talk to after class. It's not just by the book, like get in, get out. Sometimes that might be the teacher you connect with, but I feel like we need a wide variety of teachers because there's a wide variety of students. So everybody needs somebody they can go to.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty similar. For me, I want to be a teacher that kids can, connect with, but also be, what's the word? I don't know what the word is, but just be there for them whenever they need, and like they know they can be comfortable with you, and they can also feel like you want to see them succeed in everything, right? And I want to be that kind of teacher.
Right. So it's important for both boys and girls to see both genders or all genders sort of represented in this kind of occupation. Is that what you're saying too?
Yes, for sure.
Yeah, especially for boys, I think, because girls, just education in general is kind of dominated at the teacher level by women, and so I think for boys to see more men in the field is very important.
And I think childcare specifically, because I think back to my childhood, I don't think I had a male teacher until high school. So that's almost 9 years of schooling, starting from 5 maybe without any male model besides maybe a principal or a counselor or a teacher aide. But I don't remember having a teacher, maybe 7th grade, I think, but I feel like that's fairly late. You're probably 10, almost a teenager before you have a male role model at that level.
Early childhood development encompasses many different job opportunities, each of which requires a varied levels of education. Child care providers, kindergarten and elementary education teachers, preschool teachers, special education teachers, nannies, and even more jobs fall under the category of early childhood education careers. Each of these jobs involve providing different kinds of education and childcare, but all work directly with young children. Early childhood development is a growing and important field. There's a high need for childcare workers and early childhood educators in the state of Maine. This is a trend we expect to see continuing into the future. Think about it. Without childcare providers, it is very difficult for adults to go to work, and right now there are many employers struggling to find employees. We need childcare providers more than ever. In early childhood development, the pay varies based on training, education, and experience. There is a high and continued demand in this field and plenty of room to grow. As I stated earlier, different early childhood development positions require different levels of education or training. You need at least a high school diploma or equivalent in most cases to be a childcare worker. Some people have an associate's 2-year degree or have completed a certificate program. You can develop skills on the job with supervision and guidance in some cases. Childcare workers and providers can work for a daycare center or other educational center or be self-employed. Kindergarten and elementary teachers require the completion of at least a bachelor's 4-year degree. Elementary teachers create lesson plans to teach students subjects such as reading, science, and math. To become a preschool teacher, employment can be obtained with a high school diploma or equivalent and will involve training on the job. Some people who are preschool teachers have completed a certification program or a 2 or 4-year degree. Focusing on school readiness, preschool teachers generally work with children aged 2 to 5 in daycare settings, churches, Head Start centers, and various private schools. Special education teachers complete at least a 4-year degree and work with students who have learning, mental, emotional, or physical disabilities. Nannies generally need at least a high school diploma or equivalent, and they take care of one or multiple children in the parent's home. Nannies may also work directly with the children's teachers if the children need help with homework. They are responsible for completing household chores, preparing meals, and transporting kids to school. The great news is that there are plenty of programs in Maine to help you reach your early childhood education goals. The Career and Technical Education Program, or CTE, connected to your school may have an early childhood education program to look into. There are also several early childhood education and teaching programs across the state. Community college is free of cost right now if you graduated in 2020, 2021, 2022, and 2023. If you're interested in a 2-year early childhood education degree, a community college near you may have a program that fits your needs. Additionally, many colleges and universities in Maine offer 4-year degree programs in teaching. Here are some websites to check out if you're interested in taking the next step in this field. And, of course, you can always reach out to a guidance counselor or teacher for their help. Let's hear more from Travis and Zach, 2 childcare workers who work for Miss Jordan's Child Care and Preschool Center. This center is a full-service early childhood development facility for children between the ages of 6 weeks to 12 years. Travis and Zach have a good perspective on the importance of having all genders represented in the childcare and education field.
So what do you guys really like about what you're doing right now? Or I know one of you talked about having your education degree and moving on to teaching. What interests you about this work?
I mean, working here, it's always fun time. Like, it's always helpful. Like, coming in and seeing kids, they're not always happy, but whenever you get here every day and they have that smile on their face from seeing you, and it's such a fulfilling, they want you to be here. They like seeing you. They like spending their time and listening and being there with you. And it's just every single day is so rewarding.
And it's kind of cool because you have that different connection where like you're almost like a parent figure, but you're not the parent, and you're more than a friend, but you're also like a really good friend. You're their best friend. So you're spending, 6-7 hours of their day with them. You become one of their best friends and their closest friends. And I think that's really cool. You even the babies that I don't work with every day, I do something as simple as give them a high five when I walk by. And now that I've worked here longer, I see them transition into an older room and they almost remember or have a connection with me just from that simple interaction. Even though I'm not spending every day with them, they see me every day. And I think that's a really cool aspect that, like, you don't take it for granted, because when they move up and you realize like they're older, but they still remember you, you're like, oh wow, you can't talk at that age, but you remembered who I was. I think
Yeah, you really have an influence over them.
it's rewarding in a very simple way. Like you have influence over them, but you're not influencing them. They'll see
Right.
you and they'll ask for a high five, and it's like they start to influence you essentially. And that's when you realize like, wow, I really have a big connection with these kids, more so than even they realize, but they kind of do realize that. And that's really rewarding.
Yeah, yeah, that's great.
I work with different kids pretty much
Mhm.
every day. I jump from classroom to classroom. So it's just for me, just seeing, every day these kids kind of, I'll be in like the infant room one day and then won't see them again for a whole week, and or over the course of a whole month, and I see them kind of growing, and so I don't have any particular stories. Just every single day is its own kind of story, I guess.
So what kind of advice would you give to a boy or a young man who's thinking, maybe I want to do this at work, but there's really not a place for me because of my gender? What advice would you give them?
I mean, I think if you're coming in to do this job and you love doing this job, and you're down with doing all the sometimes dirty work, it's not it's not about gender in that case. I mean, I can go into an infant room and I'll be the one changing diapers or rocking a kid to sleep. I think it's important for like our older kids. We have some kids who are already in middle school, and I think it's important for those kids to see males doing that kind of work, because it's not just for women. You could do it regardless.
Yeah, and I think it's important too, whether it's the older kids or the younger kids. You'd be surprised that some of the children that do connect with dad maybe over mom, and they're choosing that male role model because, or maybe sometimes it's just based on the day, depending on how their morning went and who might have had to been the bad guy. Today they like dad, and having that a male role model in the class is enough to help with a child's drop off and make them connect with the male teacher that they want to go see rather than the female. Or like Travis said, with the older kids, having a male role model for them to be able to go to, but they know they can still go to one of the teachers in the other room, or any of the kids can come see us. I think that's just important, because kids are people too, sometimes you want to talk to a different gender, or you want to talk to a male specifically. Just all depending on who you are the day and what you're comfortable with in the moment and how you're feeling. So I think it's important to have those two options. Otherwise you might feel kind of I don't know, secluded.
It's limiting. It's a little limiting, isn't it? Yeah. Great. Well, I really want to thank you guys for speaking with me. I think it's going to be helpful for young men to hear from you, and I appreciate your time.
Thank you. I appreciate you taking time to interview us. It's
Okay.
that the word gets out.
Travis and Zach both discuss the importance of having this career field represented by all genders, and the fact that diversity in early childhood development is key for boys to see men working in the field as role models for education. Okay, let's take a look at an example of a possible career path. Say your senior year of high school, you complete an early childhood education program at a CTE, get your certification, and complete field hours in a daycare center. This helps to secure you a part-time position as a child care worker in a daycare center. As you continue to work as a child care worker for the next 2 years, you also go to school at a community college to obtain your associate's degree in early childhood education at no cost because you graduated in 2021. With this extra education, you find a job as an ed tech in a first grade classroom. While you're working as an ed tech, you decide that you want to get your bachelor's degree in elementary education. After talking to your employer, you learn that they are willing to sponsor you and help cover your tuition. You go on to complete your degree and move into working full-time as an elementary education teacher. In many cases, early child care development is a field that not only has room for growth, but encourages it. By working hard at a job you enjoy and developing relationships with your employers and coworkers, you can continue to learn and grow. Do you think early childhood education might be the right fit for you? Ask yourself the following questions. And if you feel that some of these describe you, early childhood education could be a path to look into. Your feedback is important to us. Please complete the form that was sent or provided to you by the school staff person who gave you the link for this session. Totally Trades is sponsored by the Maine Department of Transportation and the Maine Department of Education, Career and Technical Education. We thank them for their support. On our website, you can find other partners, organizations, and employers who also support Totally Trades. Thank you for attending today. We hope that this session provided you with useful information and encourages you to continue your career exploration.